Hi, my name is Sarah Benson, and this was an honors addendum that I did last semester in an accounting class for Dr. Ciccarelli. So, fashion is a form of self expression and a hobby that I have enjoyed for the last couple of years, though I very quickly found out how unsustainable and unethical the industry is as a whole, specifically the fast fashion sector. The fashion industry is actually responsible for 8.1% of all greenhouse gas emissions, which is extremely harmful. And it's something I care about because like I said, I really enjoy fashion, but I also care a lot about, being sustainable and trying to individually reduce my negative impact on the environment. So the purpose of this project is to find out if there is a way to create a more sustainable and ethical business model that is also cost effective to individual companies and to their brand. And to do that, I took a look at three fast fashion brands called Fashion Nova, Forever 21, and Zara. And I basically just looked at, how transparent are they with their consumers, what their business processes look like, and any sustainable initiatives they've made in recent years. So to start, I looked at the Fashion Transparency Index, which is a scale that ranks large fashion brands on how much of their processes they disclose to their consumers. And as you can see, none of these brands ranked very highly. They were all under a 5 out of 10, which just goes to show that these brands don't really want to disclose their information to their consumers for whatever reason. If they find it unfavorable, if they think it would turn consumers away, whatever. There's actually a decent amount of data on the fashion industry as a whole available. So as you can see, in 2018, there were 17 million tons of textiles generated in that year alone. And out of that 17 million, 11.3 million tons of textiles ended up in landfills. And only 1%, it is estimated that only 1% of all textile waste is being recycled, which is pretty alarming considering that much is made in a single year. As far as individual companies, data is pretty much impossible to find. Many companies do not disclose that information, and if it is available, it is extremely hard to find, and you have to pay a decent amount of money to find that, which again just goes to show that, it might not be favorable, it might not be something that brands really want to disclose to their consumers for whatever reason. So one of these companies, Zara, actually has started to turn a corner and make some more commitments and sustainable efforts to be a more sustainable company and reduce their negative impact on the environment. So some of these commitments that they have made are ethically sourcing their raw materials, being zero waste by 2023, using sustainable materials like cotton, linen, and polyester. And actually, the most notable initiative, in my opinion, is they are currently implementing a program where customers can bring in their old garments, their gently used garments from Zara, into the store, and they can actually get a discount on a new purchase for bringing in old clothes, and the clothes that they bring in will then be recycled and used for new products in the future and new clothes in the future. And I just think this is a really great idea because it is limiting Zara's waste. They are keeping textiles in the fashion industry, and they're keeping them from ending up in landfills, and they are using them for their clothes. And it benefits the business, it benefits the consumers because they get a discount, and it benefits the environment. So I think that is really, really notable. And as you can see at the bottom of the research and methodology box, there actually have been quite a few legal troubles that Forever 21 and Fashion Nova and other fashion brands as well, as far as copyright issues, scandals involving unethical treatment of workers, and unsustainable processes and unsustainable waste production. So in the long run, companies like Zara are turning a corner and, taking that first step towards sustainability, while Forever 21 had to file bankruptcy because of their legal troubles and because consumers started to prioritize sustainability and just, supporting companies that are ethical and sustainable and treat their workers as they should and, have positive impacts on the environment. So in the long run, it is more smart for brands and companies to make sustainable changes and, make sustainability and, keep high ethics as a priority in their company, because in the long run, it can keep them out of legal trouble. It will increase their customer relationships, and they'll gain the trust of their customers. And as we saw in Zara's instance, it can actually be beneficial not only for the company and the environment, but for consumers as well. So I think the fashion industry as a whole has started to turn a corner, and many brands have started to take the first step towards being more sustainable, but there's obviously a very long way to go, and consumers have a huge voice in this because consumers can demand brands to be more sustainable and to be more ethical and to make these changes. So I am very hopeful, but I do think that it's very possible and very logical for brands to make a cost-effective change that also positively impacts the environment. It just takes a little bit of creativity and a little bit of demand from consumers to, demand that change. And I think it's extremely important for, current big brands such as the three that I used in this study to take that first step and, set high standards of keeping sustainability at the top of businesses' priorities and making sustainability a part of their brand.